Welcome back to the stream, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we are live now. It is Wednesday, September 1st. Wow. 2021. And today we are going to work on this game. So what we're trying to accomplish today is last night we spent a lot of time working on this cool game over text. And we got an animation blueprint built for that and a state machine and everything. So gotta zoom in on it to actually see it in action. My bad. So as you can see, it animates up, and then when the player dies, we can have it, or when the player dies, we can have it animate up saying game over. And then after that, we can say, "Aye, game starting again." They decided to play the game again because it's just so fun and unique. And they died again, and they played again. So tonight we want to actually implement this into the game along with a game over screen that shows their final score, how long they survived, which is going to be the same as the final score until we add scoring elements. But I just want to figure out how to use UMG to make some little animated widgets to have a nice visually pleasing game over screen. So let's hop to it. So under our game over text, I guess. Oh, widgets. Here we go. This will work. So we already have a death screen widget. I don't know how this looks though. Oh, you dead. Okay, this is not a fantastic basis. I built this years ago, probably. All right, let me finish shaking up my caffeine here. I've got some Tetris G Fuel. Oh, that's interesting. I got the box that had the 7 different Tetramono flavors, and this one tastes kind of like a strawberry something or another. It's pretty good. I wonder if it's similar to what the One Shot Girl flavor is gonna be. Anyway, we can use this as a nice basis, and the cool thing here is that we can add animations to this, and I just need to remember how, and I need to remember how to do all of this stuff. I haven't used UMG in a very long time. And when I did use it, I didn't really know what I was doing. So that's the learning experience part of this. So we don't need the "you dead" text because we have the game over text. They know they're dead. They don't need to be reminded twice. That's just kind of cruel. So instead, we're going to just have the score. I guess for now we just kind of need a score. We just need a placeholder widget that does stuff. So how do we can add an animation. This will be animate up. And let's add a track. I am a pretty decent animator by nature. It's like one of the things that I do, but I do not know how to use this animation editor. So that's where we're learning. We have a curve editor. That's pretty cool. Cubic user, cubic break, linear constant, blah, blah, blah. So I think we can insert keys on any of this stuff. So I'm just gonna try adjusting the... Can we animate the font size? We cannot animate the font size. That's unfortunate. So we're just gonna try adds a keyframe for the property to the current animation. I don't think animating the scale here actually does anything. Oh. There's got to be like a way to make it go like I actually want it to. My sister just sent me a link to a house. But like, it's her boyfriend's mom's house. So I don't know if that's the kind of thing that I want to buy. I don't want to by a house where my sister's boyfriend was conceived. That's a little bit crude. Anyway, let's figure out how to animate this. So we could animate... So this is canvas panel. We have text block 66 is what we want to animate. So we don't care about this stuff. This is all how it's anchored and its position and the actual size of the thing. We have the size set to automatic, I believe. Yeah, size to content. So that only changes the bounding box. We want to find a way to change the actual size of the text and animate that. So text block, add a track, properties. Why is there no property for font size? That's odd. Transform. We can try changing the scale. Okay, there we go. We found it. That's what we're looking for. Benny, you got a job today. What kind of jobs do you get, man? My dude, my person. Okay, so... Oh, I don't know what I just did. So I'm going to be 100% honest. I have no flippin' clue what I'm doing here. We're just kind of learning as we go, which is the fun. So we're going to insert scale keyframes. And then if we scale this down to 0, 0, and play. How do you play? Oh, it plays right here. Okay, that's really, really slow. So this is in seconds, not in frames. What's up, Kari Gibson? How's it going? So, last night we got this cool game over text for our end screen animated. So the player can lose and restart the game as many times as they want. So now we're working on a death screen that shows their final score. And that's pretty much all it's going to show right now until I figure out what else to show it. Maybe just like a message like, haha, loser, you lost. Doing good? Chilling. That's good to hear. Love the chilling attitude. Man, I've been chilling some myself lately. My friend got me into this anime, and I've been watching the hell out of it. It's been a good time. It's called Food Fight. I don't know if I would recommend it to young people because it's kind of that there is some definitely sexual parts, but it's on Netflix. Doorwolf's here. Mega Monster. Hello again. Mega Monster was Uncle, right? Or am I thinking of somebody else? So we're trying to animate the game over screen now, where it's gonna show their score. So let's say it takes about 1/4 of a second to pop up here. Ooh, I wonder. What's up, Doorwolf? How's Japan? It's always been on my bucket list to visit Japan. So we don't need these keyframes. For anybody curious, I'm working on a game over screen for my game. So we can finally have that finished game loop so the player can start and finish the game and know what their score is and know that they died. So right now when they die, it just goes back to the start. So like, they're like, what happened? So we're trying to fix that now. Not fix, add features. There's no fixing when there wasn't anything broken, it just hasn't been implemented yet. So I'm going to make this ease up. I'm glad they have an actual graph editor. It's pretty dope. I wonder if I can edit both of these. You can edit both of them together. Nice. I wish you could change the size of the handles though. That's one thing I've always hated about Unreal's graph editors. Weighted tangents. Oh, they added it. They added the feature. That's so cool. Nice. Okay, so now if we go back to our animation and play that, notice how it starts out fast and slows down now? That's exactly what we want. So we can actually make that take a little bit longer. Should also put in a robotic voice saying game over. Oh, I'm gonna do like some foreboding laughter, like whenever they die. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna record like 6 different tracks and choose one randomly. It'll be like,
you suck. Get good, scrub.
something like that. I don't know. We can experiment. So anyway, this is looking pretty sick. We got our score that pops up. Ooh, I think we only scale it like rather than I don't know if that makes any sense. Right now it's scaling on X and Y. I think I'm just gonna scale it on Y. I wonder if there's a way to offset per letter in Unreal. That might be too expensive for the engine to handle. Chilling is the best. Make all the lights turn red when you die. It's just gonna flash back to the start screen, but there will be like a red flash whenever you get hit by stuff. That's already implemented. So I think, can we do like per letter transforms? I wonder. Let's find out. This is all huge learning experience for me. Justification. Transform policy? What? To lower. Whoa. Whoa, it changes like the actual text. It's pretty interesting. I think I'm gonna use like the deep foreboding voice for everything, like even when the player's speeding up. Here, let's scale these out. We're gonna make these weighted tangents as well. How sick is that they added it? Make a last one which simply says no. It has like a 0.01 chance. Are you trying to make like a Star Wars reference in my game?
No.
I added the Wawa at the end of it because they get all the best G Fuel flavors and it's not fair. Cool. Okay, so we can have this sort of like pop up in a quarter of a second. I think we're gonna get rid of the X scale channel and only do vertical because I think that'll look neat. And I think we've weighted this way too much. Holy crap. Oh yeah, that is way too far. What are you doing, Chris? Oh, it's when we pushed it back and changed the timing. Nah, it just says something like it. So it'll be like
Star Wars.
And then they'll be like, what? And they'll never hear it again. Okay, so we can have multiple animations on this too, so that's pretty cool. So I'm assuming there's like an event graph. We do have an event graph. Interesting. Okay, so like I said, I am extremely inexperienced with UMG. It's like one of the areas I've wanted to learn for a while, so no better time than the present. Let's hop over to like 0.7 seconds, set another scale keyframe, go back to the previous one, and we'll set it up to like 1.2, 1.25, and then we'll try that. So it like sort of scales up, then settles in a little bit slow, so I'm gonna move that back to about like 0.55. Looks cool. Like I said, we're just trying to get something in place, and then we can modify this to our heart's content as much as we gosh darn damn well do. Please, yo. That was a lot of text to say something simple. Okay. Let's save. You know, an audio clip of when I raged. that doesn't exist. Nobody knows about that. Nobody knows about that, Benny. It's a secret. I think Me1031 has it saved under his bookmarks. Let's take a look at the graph editor. This is kind of an awkward interface, not gonna lie. Make this weighted tangents as well. Control W makes it weighted for future reference. And here we can sort of rotate this a little bit, make it look all nice. How do we, So in Blender, I'm trying to like, okay, there we go. We can squish it down. That's what I was looking for. The squish. Squish it good. It was a little bit too seductive. I don't know if seductive is the right word for it. So we have score popping up. And then we'll also say like, you survived X seconds. Which the score currently is going to be how long they survived, but eventually I'm going to make it so when you punch things, you also get points. Or when you survive obstacles, you also get points. So the points and the time surviving won't be direct one-to-one. So we do want to add more text. So you would add... How do we add stuff? Like I said, it's been a while since I've touched text block. We'll just Control-C, Control-V since I don't know how to actually add stuff. And this will just say... Okay, this isn't bound to anything yet. Oh, this is bound. Okay. This will say, you survived. What kind of notation do I want to do here? I don't want to just say seconds, because if they survive for minutes, it'll be awkward if they'll be like, okay, but how many minutes was that, man? My dude? My sir? So let's just do like... Let's just do like typical time notation. You survived 10 minutes, 5 seconds. I feel like that's not super clear though. You survive. We can keep it as is for now, and then we can always change what the text says independent of the animation. So for this, we already have a transform. Oh no, it didn't save the animation. Piece of garbage. How dare you? You get a high score, add confetti in one of those party tube things. Long-term goals, sir. Long-term goals. My sister's sending me house links. It's out of my budget. Or it's at like the top of my budget, I guess. Add track text. Okay, cool. Okay, so it's dependent on what you have selected, I guess. Track, transform, scale. We don't care about any of this other than scale Y. Don't care about you. You go to hell. You can go to translation, shear, rotation, all that garbage. Oh yeah. Okay. We also don't need this canvas panel slot. We only care about the transform, yo. So you can add a key. I don't think it added. Go here. Add a key. Okay, it did add. So this one we're gonna set to 1.25. Go back to frame 1, set that to 0, and then play. And then we want to go to the graph editor. Also, why is this all the way flipping over there? Okay, so we want to go to the graph editor and sort of match this up to this beauty right here. Which means we want to do that. Right click U and do weighted tangents and sort of like scale that up. I just want to like make it similar enough. We're going to offset it in time and space, just like the TARDIS. They don't have to match 1 to 1, but matching as close as possible is going to be nice. And we can offset this by like 2 seconds. Yeah, that'll work. So we got bam. Looks good enough to me, I think. Next step is gonna be to center these, I guess. I think they're anchored to the center. Yeah. So how UMG is set up is kind of weird, if we're being honest. It's set up so you can anchor your, and it's intelligently set up. It just takes some getting used to. So it's sort of set up to, can I snap this in? We can. Here, let's snap these curves. Nope, not quite what I wanted. I want like an extra tab. Oh, can I snap it? I can snap the curves down here. So we can just switch to the graph editor. That's nice. Cool, cool, cool. So that animates up. Yeah, so the way it's set up is it anchors to specific points on the screen. So that way, if players have different screen sizes, picture a non-VR game. If players have different screen sizes, then the text will anchor to certain aspects of the screen. So it's really, really smart how it's implemented, but it's completely irrelevant for VR. Because we're going to put this on a UMG widget object, and we're going to put it on our character. And it's going to be floating around in 3D space, doing its own little thing. There's nothing you can do about it. So, I think... so what is the score bound to? Let's take a look at that. Go to our graph and we click on that. So we have text coming in and we're appending game time. Which if we go to our game mode, again, it's been a while since I've touched any of this stuff. This is all sort of a refresher for me for this game project. So every second, game time goes up 1. And then we can also have final score, or let's just do like player score. Score just seems too basic. This will be an integer, and we will plus this as well. And then this will be 0. Cool. I don't know how many of you understand node-based workflows, but it's really easy. Basically, this just says, hey, every time time progresses forward in the game, or on every single tick, every time, like, picture like a clock ticking, I guess. This just says, hey, every time the clock ticks, which is like fraction of a second, it ticks over 90 times per second for a VR game. So every time the game ticks, do all of this logic, but it goes in order. It's like a flowing river. So we say, every time the game ticks, let's switch based on what state the game is in. Are we on the start screen? Are we playing the game? Or are we on the death screen? I made these states myself. This is my game mode that I created. So you can have all sorts of states if you wanted those. So let's say we're on the start screen. We're gonna say, we're gonna do this action once. That's what a do once node does. We're going to reset all of our variables, which is like our score, the game time, all of that nonsense. And then we're going to generate the start screen map segment. So that's how the node-based logic works. It literally just flows from left to right like a river. Granted, some rivers flow right to left. Blast, foiled again. So that's all I'm doing here, is I'm just doing math and logic in that sort of way. I know that's a little bit beyond what most people would want to watch a streamer for, but I think it's pretty cool. So now all we're saying is we're getting our game mode and we're grabbing the score from it. So I'm gonna grab the player score and we're gonna plug that into our text widget here. So now that is bound, that is linked. Every time the score updates, this widget will update. Granted, this widget is only visible when the player dies. What's up, Atlanta Cookie? How's it going? I'm working on my game. Last night we made some cool game over text. So now we're working on the death screen for the player when they die. So anyway, now we need to go back to our widget designer. Thought you stopped by on Lurk while you do your studies. That sounds not super fun. Good luck though. I never enjoyed school until college. College was pretty fun. So then we need to bind the survival time, and we're going to write some logic to figure out how to convert our second counter to minutes and seconds, which is pretty easy. So we're going to create a binding. We're going to call this one player survival time. We're going to call the first one player score. So player survival time, we're going to return a text value. So we want to get the game mode. We want to cast to the current game mode type, which is the transport game mode. Honestly, kind of a messy way of doing things all the time, but it works, and that's the important thing. So here we're going to get game time. That's the one we're looking for. And we're going to convert this to minutes and seconds. Math is easy for you. Chemistry is really complicated, and AP World History is annoying. I feel that. I was very much a science and math person in high school. It was like English and history and stuff that stumped me, because I've always had relatively decent grammar, but when they put it in the context of sentences, like, this is a past participle with a dangling whatever the fuck. No, I don't care about that. And then don't even get me started on trying to find deeper meaning in books. Like, this tree symbolizes the loving bond between these two characters. No, it's a fucking tree. Get over yourselves. Hate it. I hate analyzing literature. That is not up my alley. Never understood it. I take books for face value. If somebody is like hiding meaning in their book, they're not a good writer. They're bad at getting a message across. Like, the good books are the ones that explain themselves well. You're very much a geographic boy and math. When you said geographic boy, I pictured like Captain Planet. Anyway, we're going to take the game time, which is in seconds. And I've done this whole timer shenanigans before. I just need to remember the exact math for it. So I'm going to take the seconds and divide those by 60. You have to finish your essay. That doesn't sound fun. God, I haven't written an essay in so long. That's a good feeling. I remember graduating college and being like, hell yeah, I never have to write an essay ever again. It was a good feeling. Then moving away from all of my friends and everything was a bad feeling. But not having to write any more essays, I don't know, worthwhile trade-off, maybe? You make new friends. So anyway, we're gonna take this and divide it by 60, and that'll give us our minutes. So we're going to promote that to a local variable called game minutes. So that's the seconds divided by 60, gives us the minutes, and then we want to find the modulo of that divided by 60. I think it's like, yeah, percent is what we're looking for. 60. The remainder will give us the seconds, I believe. Could be completely wrong here. So we want to plug these into a concatenation node. Concatenate string. Okay, they named it something a lot easier to say than concatenation. What's up, Majid? How's it going? But so we want minutes. We want to add a pin. Minutes colon seconds. And then let's also I kind of want to make sure this works. You like writing essays? It just takes a while, but most times you know what to do. Man, I posted this stream on LinkedIn tonight. I don't think it's gonna get any traction, but I updated my LinkedIn profile to be very professional. I make things. You can't tell me otherwise. What are we working on now? I'm working on the death screen. Dude, nobody uses LinkedIn. I went out with a girl once who works like in social media, works and like does LinkedIn for a Fortune 500 company or something. And she's like, yeah, only rich old white dudes use LinkedIn. What we're working on now, so we did the game over text last night, so now we're working on the death screen that has like the scoring text on it and stuff. Because I want to learn how to use Unreal's UMG, which is Unreal Motion Graphics. So we have our little screen that'll pop up underneath our game over text with the score, and I'm just learning how to use this right now. But we can add stuff to it later. But I'm just gonna say you survived this long and you got this many points, and then we can make it look fancier later. But I want to figure out how to properly incorporate the animations, because previously when I've done this, I've always had to just like respawn the death screen every time you die, and that was frustrating. There's got to be a way to keep it around and just use it properly. But it's a learning experience. You love the game over animation? I'm pretty happy with this. I can just turn it on and off. Be like, hey, they lost the game. Hey, they decided to start a new one. Hey, they lost the game. They want to play again. Wow, I'm a good game designer. Neat. World history do be interesting. Traders in the 1200s would measure distances between trade cities called caravan. I can't pronounce that. I'm not even going to try. How long camels could travel until they need water. Interesting. I've hated every history class I've had, because they're usually just things like when I was in college, we had to take art history, and every single art history class was a slideshow with the professor saying, this artist painted this painting in this year. This artist painted this painting in this year. And it was really boring and really stupid, but the absolute best art history teacher I ever had was actually my 3D sculpture or 3D design teacher. He was like this Czechoslovakian cowboy, and he had the most interesting stories about sculptures and stuff. It was so the best art history class I ever had wasn't even an art history class. I hated every actual art history class I had. And a lot of the art history teachers knew that people like were only taking them because they were required to. So they made the classes extra boring. I even had an art history teacher once that was like, I don't give a shit. All the tests are open book and open friend and open note. Go for it, buddy. They knew we didn't want to be there. Nobody goes to SCAD to major in art history, and if they do, there's something not quite right with their brain. Majid, I bought a basic Crunchyroll subscription. I'm gonna finish because they only have the first 2 seasons of Food Fight on Netflix. I have to watch the next 2 or 3 seasons. It's addictive. So we got this. Let's figure out how to do this, but we need to test. We need to test our logic here. There's no... You know what we can do? Yeah. So here's what we do. We just plug this widget on our character all the time while we test. But let's finish our equation really quick. So we want to grab our game minutes, colon, game seconds, return value, convert that to text, save, and that should theoretically work. Let's find out. So let me click on our player character, turn auto start on so we don't have to actually punch the button. And then let's shove the widget right in front of the camera. Or just on the character in general, and we can follow it around and see if it works. So on your viewport, we're gonna add a widget component. And this will just be called game over, which we're gonna create our own blueprint for this eventually. For the game over screen, so we can spawn it when the player dies. And just makes things a little bit cleaner, I guess. But this is going to be TPT death screen is our widget class. Death screen. Cool. So now we can rotate this 180 degrees. Yeah, so you can see this is pretty awkward how these widgets are set up in 3D space. Normally these are designed to be components that these are 100% designed to be components that what am I saying, dude? I don't even know. These are designed to be components that are attached to the screen, not to float in 3D space. So they had to create this 3D widget object for people to use in their VR games shortly after VR became publicly available. So that's why it's so finicky. Anyway, let's just see if this works. So if we play and we look at this text, we do need to add some padding to the text. Let's see if our player can survive for 60 seconds. Now, this isn't going to rotate with the player. That's not the goal here. This is the death screen. I think our player is going to die before it gets to 60. So let's make it, let's give us a bajillion D health. Blueprints, game mode. We'll just change the speed down to 1. The default I have is 2. Now I should survive for at least a minute. Okay, so that's not going yet. Now it is because the game started. So we just want to see what happens after 60. Make sure that it works properly, and then we can add some padding to it. You know, waiting a whole minute here with you all. I'm sorry. Sorry I'm making you sit here and wait. There's probably an easier way to test this. I could have just had the score start somewhere. don't really need to test it once to know that it's working, honestly. We're almost at the 60 mark. 59. Bam. Okay, it works. That's all we need to know. The math works. Now we just need to add some padding. I think you can add padding to strings in Unreal. Just a rumor how. Once got 10 points for saying the word blue. They were describing this guy in a poem about happiness. Even in happiness moments, there is sadness. There's no such thing as happy. It's a lie. There's such thing as happier, and it's a song by Marshmello. Okay, so we know the math works. Now let's just get the padding working. So we're gonna want to intercept here. Pad. Left pad? Left pad or right pad is... Source string, character count, 2. And then the padding, we'll just add spaces, I believe. So we're gonna want to replace from space to 0. So this is for game minutes, and then we can do the same thing for game seconds. And if left padding was incorrect, then just shoot me now. Okay, well, the padding is at least working. Booyah! We have our timer working. Okay, so now we just need to add in... So we got those working. So now we can append to another string. We could just append to this string as well, but I don't really want to move pins around, and I'm a little bit... Little bit. Do I want to say the L word? I don't know if I want to say the L word. I'm not lazy. I'm a hard worker. That's why I'm here instead of watching anime. We'll say append string. We'll plug this into slot B, and then slot A will say you survived. Oh, if we got really fancy, you could say like, you survived blank minutes and blank seconds, but then we'd have to add an if statement for if they only survived 1 minute. So it wouldn't be like, you survived 1 minute, because that's broken English. I'm not all about that. Okay, my biggest qualm with Facebook is that there's no search bar for the emojis on PC. So like if I want to find a specific emoji without scrolling down a billion pages, I have to Google it and copy it from Google, and it's really stressful because you want the right emoji to say your feelings. How did people like in the 1800s express their feelings without emojis? Because like you can lose the meaning of text so easily, but then you add an emoji and it's like, oh, he's smiling. So necessary. All right, so we have this working. Now we have to get it animating up. So go to the event graph. Oh, get animate up. Play. Set. Play. Animation. Okay, so that's easy enough. So we could say like on can we add custom events? We can. So okay, this is how you do it then. We have one game over event or one game over blueprint. I have to think about this for a second. So I think we make a game over blueprint. So if we just have one game over blueprint, maybe we don't even need a game over blueprint. We can just shove the game over screen on the player character. That way, we don't have to worry about calling the proper instance of it or anything. That's adding a whole lot to the player character, but we can just hide it when we're not using it. Anyway, let's see what happens if we play this animation on construct. Did it play? I don't know. And to find out, we're gonna move the camera up. Haha. That's how real OGs do it. Okay, so it does play. The playing works. Kind of. That looks pretty freaking blurry though. If we're being 100% honest. Here, let's move this back and scale it down some more, like maybe 0.25. Well, it is playing. We could say delay for a second. Oh, I didn't delay it at all. I just added a delay node. 5 seconds. Ooh. And it doesn't. Oh, you got to be flipping kidding me. Music is a bop. When we die, we don't want to reset the variables because we want them to see how long they survived. We want to reset the variables when they start the game. Okay. Well, we know this works, theoretically, technically, whatever the hell. We just need to figure out the logic for this and figure out how to make it play. I know one way we can fix this is don't play the animation until... So, play animation, unhide blueprint, unhide widget after restart playing. So it'll never show the text up before the animation plays, is the goal here. Then animate out, hide the widget. That's the challenge. Let's try it. Challenge accepted times a bajillion. So anyway, we're going to break those pins, get rid of the delay, and we're gonna add... I don't think we even need an event here. We can just grab the widget of our player. Yeah, so we can just go to our player. This will be the widget, that's fine. Probably put this like right here. And then we want our game over text as well. The skeletal mesh that we created last night. Yikes. Friend just tweeted out in their area in Georgia, ICU capacity is at 105%. Which means other people with serious illnesses like heart issues and things are gonna die because of people who just didn't want to get vaccinated or wear a mask. Big yikes. Yikes. That's a scary image. Georgia hits new record for COVID-19 hospitalizations since pandemic began. Wow. Wowza. Hospitalizations 5,729 people. Previous record 5,721 in January. Concerned about running out of oxygen. That's super scary. It's big spook energy. I guess that's on the people, like, slightly, who refuse to get vaccinated or wear masks or do anything because they don't think the virus is real. screw those people. But there are some people who are vaccinated and wear masks and still end up in the hospital, and that's totally fucked up. Anyway, we have this widget now. We're gonna call this Game Over Widget. And then for testing purposes, here, first of all, I need to make sure this collision's hidden in game. I did that last night. For testing purposes, we're going to add some logic to our player character so we can turn this off and on at will to make sure it works. So for that, let's go ahead to, let's make a new graph. And we'll call this Game Over Events. And we'll create a new custom event. And we'll call this Game Over up here. And for that, we're going to grab our Game Over widget. We're going to set visibility to true. But right before we do that, we're going to play and cast to get widget. Game Over widget. What's the parameter we want to grab? We want to grab widget class. Get widget. Is this true? Is this how you do this? I don't have a lot of experience working with widgets. Cast to, this looks correct. Something's happening outside. Sounds like a vehicle or something. Which would make sense in a parking lot. So we're gonna grab TPT desk screen widget. And if the cast is successful, then we get animate up and we play it. Let's just see what all options we have under the animation here. Play animation time range. Relative to its current state. Plays an animation a specified number of times. Yeah, we'll just get the... Okay, so there is a start time option here. That's what I was worried about. I was like, after it's already played, can we play it again? And it appears as though we can. One fatal issue. Target must have a connection. Does that work? Yes, it does. So this is an event we just made for this. So now, Game Over widget, by default, we'll set it to invisible. And then under our player character event, under tick, we're gonna add some temporary logic. So this will just be branch based on, here, let's go ahead and make a new variable class. And this is going to be called Game Over Bool. Bull for Boolean. It's not like a weird nickname for a girlfriend or something. What up, Bull? Category game over. By default, this is going to be set to false. We are going to publicly expose this. Again, not as kinky as it sounds. We're going to grab that, plug it in, and then here, we're going to say, if this is turned on, then we do want, this is just for testing purposes. We just want to see if our event works. And that'll be game over up here. So now we can turn off auto start, so we don't care about that. Play, and then make sure our player is selected, and then find our player. Game over, Bull. Bam, it works. Oh, what the hell? Current game mode. Where's that? Where's the error? How is it not finding the game mode? No errors. It's having trouble finding the current game mode. The question is why? Set that on begin play. I believe. Begin play. Yeah, we grabbed the game mode and set it to current game mode. That should work. Ugh. Man, I thought that caffeine would wake me up, but I think I was just up too late last night. Becoming tired, the boy. I'll be right back. Oh wow, the chat's not showing up at all. Weird. Refresh. Pests. I guess it's because I didn't reboot OBS. Whoops! Cool. That felt good. As it was programmed to. So why are we failing to find the game mode? Here, let's expose current game mode. Player pawn. TBT game mode. Here, let's sit back here so when it loops, we'll be ready. No errors. Maybe we just didn't give it enough time previously. Yeah, no errors. What does it frick mean? No errors. Okay, cool. I think we're good. I think we're in the clear. That was just the weird non-issue. Oh, if I know, man. Wait, is there like do we have like a delay in here before we get our current game mode? Maybe that's what's happening. Nope, no delays. Weird. Well, this works. That is beneficial. Let's move this up just so we can actually see it in screen. Works. So now we need to incorporate the game over text, and then we're gonna have to play test this to see how the distance feels and whatnot. And I think, what's up, TARDIS man? Nice angel emoji. I think we want to take our game over text, or I think we want to take this and make it like a curved cylindrical kind of deal. So let's go ahead and set the visibility back on. And let's turn the widget type to a cylinder rather than a plane. So it'll be curved. Check that out. And we won't make it super arced. You can't go more than 180. We'll just curve it a little bit. Add a little bit of depth to it. Maybe like 65. Haha, 69, funny number. Hee hee ha ha. And then we also need to add our game over text. Oh my god, dude. I was up way too late last night. How was work? It was work. As far as I'm concerned, it was work. That's all. That is what work be like. It is work. They treat me well. It's a good company. I woke up, I worked. I was just up too late last night, so I'm kind of tired. Way more tired than I thought I was going to be after chugging 16 ounces of caffeine. So we want to grab our game over text. Shove that in here. This should not be parented. I don't know why it didn't parent to the default scene root. Looking forward to the 3-day week. That's true. Forgot it was a 3-day weekend. I'd thought about taking some extra time off for that, but I'm gonna save my vacation. Yeah, I usually try to take my vacations and make them longer. So like I can save, what's the words I'm looking for? Easier. You feel like you get more bang for your buck if you put your paid vacation next to your holiday vacation, or next to the holidays, because then it feels like an extra long weekend and you used minimal paid time off for that. That's what I'm getting at. All right, so we have our game over text. We want it to be, ooh, we can't see the widget at all in 3D space. Wow, not even a little bit. They're really doing me dirty like that? Ah, cool, epic. Gas prices look like they've already gone up. Good thing you got more this morning. Wait, why are gas prices going up? What happened? I'm good on gas for like the next week and a half probably, but why are they up? Out of curiosity. Okay. Close enough. We can always position this stuff later once we have a feel for it in VR. But this one, we're going to want to give it the game over text animation blueprint. And just to see what this looks like in idle, I'm going to go to the animation blueprint and set the default. Why is that not setting my default? Oh, that's the animation preview? Game over. Okay, there we go. So now by default, we have that. Sick. Happens around holidays if more people are traveling. Oh, I was wondering if there was like a pipeline burst or something crazy. What's up, Benzalot? How's it going? Okay, so we have our game over text over the final score. That looks pretty good, honestly. I'm pretty happy with this. I might move this back. I was trying to match the front of the curve for the score, but I think I want to just sort of center it. Cool. As gas prices, like gas was impossible to get for a while when the gas line got held ransom, was it? Is that what happened? I think this looks pretty good as a temporary game over screen. So now we can just say by default, this is set to invisible. Same with the scoring. It's all positioned correctly now. We can go back to our animation blueprint and set the default for game over to false. Followed by Russian hackers. That sounds about right. Impacted the East Coast, but not here that you know of. Yeah, I was impacted. It was impossible to get gas for like a week. Not that it mattered to me personally, because I had nowhere to go, middle of a pandemic, and I'm not stupid. But like, just the selfish nature of holding a gas pipeline or whatever ransom like that. It's like, bruh, enough has happened this year. Let it chill for a second before you're a giant dick. It's like, give it a couple years, man. We've had enough. We've had enough. Okay, cool. So now under our game over event, we already have it. Let's add a sequence. And we'll put this second in the sequence and the game over text first. We'll have it all sort of appear at once. So we'll grab our game over text and we'll say, hey you, get anim instance. Hey you there, the pretty text. We're gonna cast to game over text. So the reason you do casting in Unreal, for those of you unfamiliar with the workflow, is we're grabbing this object and we're grabbing the animation that it's using, but which the engine knows, yeah, that's the right animation. But if we're just grabbing the animation instance, this isn't giving us enough data to say, to say it's this specific animation that we're grabbing, or blueprint that we're grabbing. So then we cast to the specific one we want, and hopefully this is a match, and then we can grab data and variables from that specific animation blueprint. I hope that was a decent explanation. Probably wasn't. A lot of the stuff is complex to grasp. Anyway, now that we know that we're on the right thing, got an ad about how they're casting for Black Panther 2. It'll be interesting to see what direction they go with that, since T'Challa is no longer with us. What was the actor's name? God, it's right on the tip of my brain. Chadwick Boseman, yeah, since he's unfortunately no longer with us. The first one was really good. I enjoyed that movie. I actually liked it a lot better the second time I watched it. I saw it in theaters and was like, eh. But then when I watched it during my Marvel Universe rewatch, I actually really enjoyed it. So here we want to set game over to true. So now if we play, we select our player pawn and we say game over bool. Oh, we also have to set this to visible. Whoops. So let's grab this and set visibility to true as well. So now if we select our player pawn and say game over, bam, it all comes up. And that's a little bit dark. It wasn't bad, pretty middle of the road. Yeah, it wasn't like the best movie they've ever made, but I enjoyed it more than I enjoyed like Endgame or something. Endgame was pretty low bar though. Thought about signing up for news about casting, even though you're not an actor. They post a decent amount of stuff on Backstage. And, God, what's the other casting website they taught us to use at acting classes? Okay, so the reason I'm bringing up the materials here is because I'm not happy with how bright this is. It seems kind of dark when it's in engine, so I'm just gonna brighten up the emission a little bit, and to do that, I'm just gonna multiply it by like 2. It's the beautiful thing about math, it's just numbers. Oh, I typed math instead of multiply. How dumb do I feel? Pretty dumb. And we'll grab a scalar parameter. We'll call this brightness. Sure, that should work. And then multiplying it by 0 is gonna get rid of it completely if we set this to 2. So like the brighter we make this, the brighter the text is gonna get. So I'll set it to 3 by default. I'm gonna walk by in a film so you can say, hey, it's me. Man, it would be fun to be in the credits of a movie, but the problem with the credits of a movie is nobody actually watches them. All right, that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that brightness. We can mess with it a little bit more just to see what it looks like in game. Like, once we set this to 6. Ooh, la. 7? 200. Let's just set it to like 9. Oh yeah, that's a lot more impactful. And we can always mess with this too. And that's gonna go back to what it was, I think. No, it didn't. Normally when you stop the preview of the game, it'll reset any parameters you change during the game preview. But I guess it doesn't for materials. That's good to know. Cool. Now we need to make Miles Miller extra 9 eating roast pork in corner table of proposal scene. Wait, what's 9 hyphen eating? 9 eating? Extra 9 eating? What's 9 eating? So like German not eating? So he's not eating roast pork? That would be my guess. Well, that sounds like a pretty fancy wedding if it's a roast. If you're saying it like roast pork rather than barbecue. Extra number 9. Oh, and then the hyphen is just okay. That should be. I think that would be better as a colon. Tisk tisk. So now we need to make this disappear when the player starts a new game. You like to mix things up with A-. Oh, with a hyphen. You think I would have gotten that after the conversation we just had? So the challenge here is going to be, we want to say when they hit the start button, get rid of the game over screen. But if they're playing for the first time that they boot up this mode, that in that play session, there's not going to be a game over screen there. So you need to account for that. So I guess we just check the visibility of the object when they hit the start button. Man, I've been buying those single portion Publix meals that are not like pre-cooked in any way, so you actually have to cook them in the oven, so they're not like microwave meals or anything. One of them, the one that I cooked tonight, was like a turkey cutlet with stuffing and green beans, but it is not sitting well in my stomach. No bueno. Not gonna get that one again. Overall, they've been really good though, the chicken dishes they have. So anyway, let's get back to work on this before my stomach explodes. That was a grotesque picture that I apologize profusely for. So we want to say when the player dies, this is all going to be on the death event. Want to get our player pawn. We want to say game over up here. Easy enough. So this will be game over screen appears. And we need to make another event. And this is called game over disappear. Even better. I'm gonna confuse future Chris. Game over Houdini. Like he's pulling over the game over screen's pulling a Houdini. Oh god, I'm dumb. I'm gonna regret this later, but it's a funny joke for now. Are there save checkpoints or are all modes endless? All the modes in this game are endless, and if it wasn't endless, there would be no checkpoints. The original idea that ended up being way out of scope for one person for something like this was I wanted to make my own kind of like on the rails version of Spelunky or Downwell, where you go through like 9 procedurally generated levels and then fight a boss. But that ended up being too much for one person, so now I'm making an endless kind of temple run in space, but a bit more creative game. So it'll just be see how long you can survive. And right now, how it's set up is I have the tunnel, and then each individual of the tunnel can be a random blank piece or a random enemy piece. But I'm actually going to make it less procedurally generated by making chunks, my own custom handcrafted chunks of various obstacles. Because the problem with adding too much procedural generation is now I'm relying on the computer to make something that's fun, and that's just not reliable. So if I make chunks of a map that it can pick and choose rather than individual slices, small slices of the map that it can pick and choose, it'll feel a lot more handcrafted and a lot more purposeful and fun, I guess are the words I'm looking for. So that's going to be the next goal after we get the whole game loop with the death screen here working, is to start crafting enemy segments that are fun. So I'll be able to make segments that are like duck dodge, or like laser laser laser, or stay ducked, stuff like that, and just make them as long or as short as I want. But I'm gonna have to update the code on my map generator for this. However, it is gonna simplify the map generator code a good amount. It's gonna remove an entire branch of choosing whether it's gonna have an enemy segment or a blank segment. So that'll be cool. It'll simplify greatly. And then if I just make enough various different map chunks, then it'll still feel random every time they play it. And I can always add more chunks. That's the cool thing. Just add them to an array. And then I'm gonna give each chunk a difficulty rating. How hard is it to complete this chunk? And then it'll check how long they've survived so far, for what list it pulls from for the different map pieces. So if you've survived for longer and it's going faster, it's going to start pulling the harder pieces. So like the easy pieces might have like 3 or 4 blank segments after you duck to recover and get ready for the next obstacle. The harder ones only have like maybe 1 segment to recover and get ready for the next obstacle. At least that's the plan in my head. This all kind of came to me. I was in the shower the other day to make it more custom crafted like that. I think it'll overall be a lot better gameplay experience, because right now the game mode, and granted there's not much of a game mode here currently, but what I have right now is not super fun. It looks cool, but it's not super fun. So anyway, game over Houdini. We want to add a sequence here, and for that we're going to grab our game over text, get anim instance. We're gonna cast to game over animation blueprint, and here we want to set, what is the boolean for this? Set game start to true. Then I don't know how long that animation is, but we can delay. Let's just, you know what? Let's just take a look. 1001. So if we delay like a second and a half, 1.5 seconds, and then set the visibility, we should be fine. We just don't want to instantly set the visibility to off, or else it'll do things. We could say, like, we could go into the animation blueprint and say, if it hits the end of the animation, set it invisible. But I don't really want to add logic there that goes back to the parent. That seems a little bit messy. I'd rather just delay 2 seconds and say, cool, gone. Whatever, bro. So then we need to make a new animation for our death screen widget. So we're going to add an animation and we're going to say Houdini out. God, I'm going to hate myself for these naming conventions later. Why do I do this to myself? Also, let's add some padding to the score. So if we go to the player score, pad left, let's say like 5 digits, probably fine. I don't know how high scores people are gonna get. Oh, we should add significantly more zeros to this than anybody will ever get, so everybody who plays the game feels like shit. They'll be like, damn, I didn't even fill all the zeros. I'm a horrible player. Golly gosh gee willikers, mister. We'll start with 4. That should probably be enough. I don't even know what's gonna add to the score in this mode currently. Definitely punching the little orbs. And definitely survival seconds are gonna count towards your score, but there's also gonna be like score multipliers and things that I have planned. But score and is the game fun are not necessarily, they don't have to go together. We can make the game fun before we worry about how to score it. So then we want to replace, because when you do the padding here, it just adds spaces. So we want to replace the spaces with zeros. Cool. So now if we play, we select our player pawn, we say game over. Cool, now we're score, we have a you survived this many seconds. Looks good. Now we need to add another boolean for the animate out to just double check that it works, and then we can add the actual logic. Oh right, let's actually add an animate out for the death screen. Okay, so we have our Houdini out. Let's add a track for our text. Cool, cool, cool. So we'll scale it, we'll just scale it out over like half a second. So I'll add a transform track to each of these. And we only care about the scale, so we'll delete all the other parameters. We only care about the Y scale. So we're savages. Gonna add a keyframe to each. Go forward like half a second. Did I not? Okay, it did. Then we can go to our graph editor. Where'd that go? The frick, man? I put that down here. You stay where I put you. Please. Cool. So here we just want to take these handles, have it ease out. And then for this one, we can add weighted tangents, which allows us to have more fine control over the curves for the animation. TARDIS Man is a master of animation curves now, because I explained it the other night on stream. Cool. So now it sort of like eases out. And then we just want to offset them by a couple frames. So we will take our text block 66, order number 66, and we'll offset it by like 0.15 seconds. Oh shit, I did that wrong. Other one. Something like that. Should be fine. sick. So then we grab our, we can just honestly copy paste this. Easy. And instead of animate up, we grab Houdini out. I don't know why I find that so funny. It's not even funny. It's just gonna completely screw me over later. Maybe that's what I find funny. Anyway, we have our Houdini out animation. Now let's add a Boolean to our player pawn just to test this. So we'll add another sequence pin here, another branch, and we'll say game start. Cool. Put this under our game over section. Plug that in here, publicly expose it so we can check it over on the panels. All clicking this little eyeball does is it turns on variables down here in the public panel where you can change them while you're testing the game. It makes it really convenient to mess with values while you're testing your game, but it also makes it so you can just show the ones you need at any given time, so you're not overwhelming yourself. So here we'll do the do wants, and then we'll do game over Houdini. I'm gonna rename that. That's horrible. Okay, so we'll play. We'll select our player pawn. We will game over. Okay, cool. It works. And it only works once because I had it set behind a do wants gate. Oh, I know what I can do here. Haha. If it's set to false, then we reset. So we can do it over and over again. Just for testing's sake. Player pawn, game over. Hey, we survived 0 seconds. What do you know? Game over. Start game. It works. We're good to go. I just have to actually implement the logic here that says, hey, game on. We have the logic that works. We need to add the logic in sections that are applicable. So now let's go to our start button collision and find that event. See what that calls. So here we turn off start button, then we transition to game. So under transition to game, at the end of this, we just want to grab our player pawn, which should be grabbed here somewhere already. There's no way it's not. Oh, it's not. Color me baffled. Interesting. I think I have a variable for my current player though. Current player pawn, there we go. Oh, we don't have to do all the casting. And we'll just say game over Houdini. And it shouldn't matter? Because we're just hiding the visibility after, like we're not revealing the visibility under the animate out for this. So the first time they play, it shouldn't matter. Anyway. Oh, we are setting visibility on this, but that is accidental. We want to... Ooh, what do we have here under this? UMG sequence. Get. Do we have access to like the playback position? No, we don't need that. We can just delay. Delay like 1.5 seconds and then set the visibility off. Let's test that. Grab our player pawn. Game over. Hey, they're starting again. Game over. Hey, they're starting again. Cool, it works. Sick, nasty, dope, ill, bruh. Okay, so now that I've gotten that done, I just have to put these logic blocks in the right place, which you already got one. Now we need to pop the other one into the... Already did. I think we're good to go? Let's find out. Let's pop into our player pawn. These should be invisible by default. They are. They are. Cool. So if I hop over into VR. Oh, my base stations are waking up. So we have the Steam VR prompt right here. My base stations went to sleep. These are what track the headset. Okay, now we should be good to test. Okay. Design problem. We need to add a timer for the start button. To reappear, because otherwise people are gonna die while they're flailing around and accidentally hit the start button again. You'll also notice that we had an issue with the start text as well. So I'm not sure what was causing that. FNCS skin in Fortnite tonight, apparently. Okay, so I need to see if that text issue happens every single time. Alright, so we have a bug with both text objects. The widget seems to be working really well though. So that's cool. Like, gosh, man. I thought I had this fixed, so like is game start set to on by default? Game over. Game over should automatically be resetting itself. So game start appears to not be resetting itself when we're actually in the game. My head is halfway off camera. I'm sorry. In theory, this works. I wonder if it's like a happening too fast thing. Where are we setting this? So under the player pawn, we're setting game over. Then we're setting game start. And to fix this issue, you can just manually set game over to off in case it's not. It's just like oh, and then same thing here. Set game start to off. Just as like a fail safe. Since I don't know why it's doing the things it's doing. So then when we die, we turn on the start button. We say game reset. So let's look at our start text to make sure this bug doesn't happen again. Granted, I think we wanna delay like three or 4 seconds before we turn any of this stuff on, so they're not like flailing around and accidentally hit the button again. Or so a few different options here. These could all be polishing things we do later, though. Let's just get it all working and fun first. What I was thinking for a solution is maybe have a start button that requires the player to put both fists in a certain orientation, so that way they can't accidentally punch it. But if we used the same energy capsule and said, hey, put your fists on either sides, then people are going to assume they have to do that for all of them in the game, and that's incorrect. We don't want to teach them incorrectly. You might say, nah, nobody's going to think that. People aren't that stupid. That's where you're wrong. Anyway, I think this works. Question becomes, so another polishing thing I might want to do is whenever the player dies, set the map to be going forward in whatever direction they're currently facing. That way they don't die and have to turn around to find the game over screen. problem is we can rotate the map in the direction in which the map spawns. If we rotate the player character to match that new orientation, then it's gonna rotate the player character too, so they'll still be offset facing the wrong direction. Questions. Things we have to figure out. I'm gonna add these to my to-do list. So let's say orient death screen to player view. Could cause significant issues later, because now we're gonna have segments that are traveling at angles that are no longer 90 degrees. Granted, to the player it will still feel the same, hopefully, but that's gonna depend on how accurate the math of the engine is. These are all things that I can figure out later, though. Right now, let's just fix the bug text, the bug with the text. I think we handled the bug with the game over text. The next question is going to be the start button. But let's go ahead and delay the start button showing up when you die for like a few seconds. So we will do game over appear first, since that doesn't have any player collisions. And then we'll do start button, and we'll add a delay here. We'll delay that like 5 seconds, make it gracious, so they have a chance to look at their score and all that nonsense. And then we also don't want to reset the variables. Which ones are we resetting here? Player energy, game time, speed increment, speed multiplier. We're gonna want to reset all of these on game start rather than at the end of the game. No. We do need to reset. We're gonna need 2 different events. One for resetting movement variables and one for resetting score. Because we want the score to stick around until they start the game, because it's on the death screen. We want the player speed to be reset the second they die, so when they're traveling along that spline, it doesn't cause any issues. They're not traveling like 100 miles per hour along the basic start spline. So we're gonna rename this event, or this function, to reset TPT movement variables. And then we'll add a new one called reset TPT score. And this will be set game time to 0, set score to 0, that should be all we need for right now. So then we need to put these in 2 separate locations. So on the death event, we only want to reset the movement variables, which is correct. We already have that in place. We just need to modify that function so that it only resets movement variables. So we... Okay, yeah, player energy resetting is fine. Game time we don't want to reset. The rest of that is totally fine. And then, there's some stuff we need to reset on the map generator as well. So you notice we restarted the game and it immediately took us to a speed up segment. We need to reset the things. This might be getting too complicated to put on different events and shove melts everywhere. We might want to make like an event dispatcher for this. An event dispatcher says you bind events to one action call, and you call that action and it goes blam 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 all over the place. It's great. Really, really useful. I use it for destroying everything currently. So for the map generator, I think we already bind. Yeah, we already. Oh, we don't. So we'll say reset map. We'll say custom event. Reset map gen variables, and then we'll bind this to destroy map event. So now when we destroy the map, we will reset the map generator variables, which will be I'm trying to think about this one. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Okay. Just need to figure out which variables I need to reset. So let's take a look at all of our variable options here. Transition variables until next zone. Current zone count, we definitely want to reset. To 0. Set until next zone to 3. Segment piece count. I think this is already like, here, let's select our map generator. Map generator. See, this is already set for the, this is already reset when it regenerates the death screen, so we don't need to reset that one. Otherwise we should be good. So now let's just figure out what the hell is happening with the start text bug. Need to figure out how it can get into that situation. It's happening because the anim notify must not be firing. So let's take a look at that asset and see if there's any sort of gaping holes. So here's our animation blueprint. We can say start time. Game reset. Okay, so the problem has to be okay, I think I know what's happening. I think on the animations, we just need to put the anim notifies earlier. Although, I'm just playing, for reset, I'm just playing it in reverse. Yeah, we're playing this in reverse. So if we go look at the animation for this, we want to set one at the beginning of the animation and one at the end rather than dead center, because that way I don't know why that's A reset, probably for animation reset, but A, B reset, whatever. I want them both to do the same thing, so when it plays forward and plays backwards, it'll immediately reset the variable. And then for the blueprint under the graph editor, oh, that was a reset. Shit. Okay, that's not a real thing. We're under the wrong animation. suck. There we go. So reset suck variable, and then we'll add a second one. Reset suck var2. Put that at the end. That way, whether it's coming from the start or the finish, it'll hit it pretty much immediately. I don't know how reliable notifies are, so I don't want to put it at the exact end or the exact start, just close enough. So reset suckvar2, and this is going to do the exact same thing. Cool. So I should fix that bug. So theoretically, we should have a complete game loop. Oh my god, these apps will not shut the fuck up. Turn off notifications. Turn off notifications. Every time I get notifications from an app that I don't ever click on, lately I've just been like holding down click on it and turning off all notifications. It's nice. Gives me a nice clean feeling in my head. So if this works, we might call it quits for the night. 2 hours is pretty good time for a stream. And then come back on Friday to start adding different obstacles to the map to make it fun. Start adding some start adding some yeah, difficulty scaling and stuff. We got the meat and potatoes out of the way. The game can start, the player can die, the game can restart. GG. And I don't think we reset the score currently, so let's try it. Also, let's make the health. Deplete at the normal speed again, which is 2 for now. 2.5 maybe. Go for it. Okay, I think we need to make it a necessity, an absolute necessity, to have the map match the direction the player is looking. When you die. Which means we might need to split the player pawn up into categories for what's parented to each other. So like parent the score and stuff to the elevator platform and then rotate the elevator platform independently of the player. Gotta go. All right, Benny, hope you have a great night. Thanks for chilling. I hope you feel less depressed over whatever it was you were talking about on Twitter. The way I spaced out those words was a lot more awkward than intended. So, our player pawn, and we have our little elevator thing. Transport platform. The map generator should technically work, because it never like comes up with its own locations or transforms for pieces. It takes the transforms for the next pieces from the previous pieces. So we should theoretically be able to have the map facing whatever direction the player is facing when they die, so they know they died and they're not just like confused at why they're looking at the side of the tunnel now and it's dark. It's getting way too confusing if we don't get this working. So let's grab our energy our little platform here. Transport platform, and we will parent the start button to the transport platform. So now, if this gets rotated, that all goes with it. So start text, that'll get parented to transport platform. Game over widget and text will get parented to the transport platform. This will not. This is dependent on where we're looking. Particle spawn will not. I don't think any of this stuff will either. I think we're good. So now, so rotation is set to 0. Okay. So when we die, the first thing we want to do is grab the rotation of the player's head. The world rotation of it. So we destroy the map. Where do we generate the new map? Generate start screen. Sorry, I got distracted on Facebook. That's my bad. That's not something you should do when you're trying to entertain live. Okay, so under our spawn. Okay, so this may be broken. Because we're hard setting the locations for these. Incredibly entertained by Facebook surfing. Stop closing that tab. Fuck off, Chris. Quit getting distracted. Sorry, my brain is like churning in the background trying to figure out the solution to this problem. So here, let's add some breakpoints to our map generator. So we spawn this. Add breakpoint. We spawn this. Add breakpoint. Let's see what that gets us. So resume. Resume. And then let's turn the fog off real quick. God, I wish I could be outside of the pond by default, which is what Simulate is supposed to do. And all of this should fire like immediately when we play the game. I guess I just need to take a look at what all of these are. So we have our instance. Oh. Move breakpoint. Hmm. We are headed in the right direction. We might need to rearrange the order of this a little bit. I don't know if I have anybody. I don't know if I have like the mental capacity to do this part tonight. Well, anyway, let's add a transform here. We'll say start transform. Then we'll split this struct pen. I just need to know which pieces each of these are. Alright, so spawn the corner, add a breakpoint, spawn these pieces, add a breakpoint. Spawn this, add a breakpoint. I have to do this as a simulation. Don't really have a choice. So resume. Corner's all the way over there. Let's see when that happens. Why is this all happening at once, though? So we have our start screen segment, then we have our before and after pieces, and then the corner piece. Oh. The corner doesn't even actually exist. That's an instanced geometry piece. Why did I make this more complicated than it needs to be? 'Cause it's better performance. I know, but... We're gonna have to use transforms. Transforma. So we spawn the corner. We spawn another corner. Which is which? So you spawn a corner. Same exact actor. We're not using this transform for anything except for the next. Well, let's take a look at the start screen segment. We're gonna have to rewrite this. Okay, so this does start at 0. So we can just add an arrow at the end. We do have an arrow at the end, which is arrow. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna spawn the tunnel, and then we're gonna spawn the corner attached to the tunnel in that order. My construction script. We get the instances and we add an instance. Okay, so map generator. Spawn before pieces. Here we go. So if I grabbed the arrow, location and rotation, and plugged those in, would that work exactly the same? Then we can remove the breakpoints. Not worried about that right now. Something's broken. Oh yeah, both of these are stacked. Okay. So we want to spawn. When is this one getting spawned? So this is the first one. So why would we not spawn these in order? Oh shit, I accidentally undid the location for that. And yeah, we know this was set to 90 for the rotation, so if we play this now, it's going to be completely busted. Yeah, 90 and then minus 2500, I think. Yep. So what is this one? Start screen segment. Start screen segment. Start screen segment corner. I think we're just doing this in the wrong order. So I base each one off of the previous one's transformations, then rotating them should be really easy. Okay, so this is our problem. We're doing all this backwards. So let's flip it around. So we start with this one. Which should make 0 difference whatsoever. Which we still want to do the instance pieces first, since that's what allows us to have our corner. So then we spawn our before segment, and this should still work perfectly fine. Yep, no change. So now's where we're gonna get tricky. We're going to add a test transform. Like so. And we will make this publicly available. Let's get our test transforms with the struct pen and say location rotation. So then we get arrow, get world transform. Split that struct pen, and then we generate the next piece, which is our center piece. I should probably duplicate all of this just in case it's a complete failure. Backup, spawn, start, segment. Working. Okay. Just so we have that as backup in case this breaks severely. Okay, so we spawn the instances. Then we spawn the first segment. We grab the transforms. We spawn the next segment, which is going to be this one. Again, we're just reordering the order in which we do these. I don't know why I was doing them backwards like that. That makes no sense to me. Past Chris sure is a tricky devil. Okay, so spawn this segment. Then we spawn corner. Is there an arrow on this guy, the corner segment here? I believe there is. Yeah, there is. Alright, so let's see how this is working first. Well, these are generated over here. And then that stuff is generated in the wrong place. Okay, so we're going to want to plus 90 degrees to whatever the transform is. We only care about the Z rotation. Okay, so that's correct now. Kind of. It's broken. So then we grab the arrow transform. We're gonna break that. Split those struct pins. Grab the Z rotation plus 90, since I'm apparently an idiot. So after we create the spline, let's just break off. Let's see where we are. Okay. Looks like the arrows are already rotated the correct direction, so we don't need the plus 90 there. So that's working. So then we spawn the next segment, which is not that. This right here. Why did I do this backwards? That makes no sense. It's like less procedural this way. So we grab the arrow, we grab the location, we grab the rotation, nice. Now we just grab the corner. And plug this in. But we grab get arrow. Get world transform. Split that struct pin. Rotation, location. Boom. So now we should be able to have this rotate randomly. So we set this to 0. Boom. So now we can just have this, like, let's say offset by like 30 degrees. Test transform. Rotation, let's just say we have this offset by 30 degrees. Way. If we have the grid visible, yeah, no longer aligns with the grid. But the game should still work. Let's try it with the offset rotation, but with auto start on so we can actually see the game happen. So let's select our player pawn, turn on auto start, play. And this should work, theoretically. Even at the weird angle. Nice. So now all we have to do is say when the player dies, set the angle. So whatever direction the player is facing. Except here, we grab the rotation and the location. So then, player pawn, game mode, death event. Generate start screen. Spawn before pieces. We just say start orientation. Plug that in. And then on death event, we set that. Set start orientation. And for that, we're going to get the player pawn, get camera, get HMD camera, get world transform. Nope. We want the transform location to start at 0, so we really just need the Z rotation. So let's try it. It works. So now we just need to set the elevator platform rotation as well. I think Punch On will be finished by 2022. That getting like out of early access is the goal, but I might still add stuff to it. We have a complete game loop though. So now all we have to do on death events is match the player. So here's our player stuff. So at the same time we do this, just so it matches the tunnel. We'll also grab our player pawn here and say get elevator. Nope. Get, what is that called? Player pawn. We have transport platform. Get transport platform. Set relative rotation. We'll get HMD camera. Get relative rotation. And then we care about the Z. So let's try that. Okay, that's pretty awesome. Now, no matter what direction you're facing, when you die, the game over screen and the tunnel will always be your direction. Oh, that's nice. That's good stuff. Well, that's pretty good progress. Now we can turn on our height fog again. Let's go ahead and record a laugh. Just so we have some nice audio for when you die. Just to do something really fun tonight that's not so like mind-boggling.
shoot, I'm still on voice changer. Might be too long. Like,
I honestly think the first one is the best. So I make sure this fades out all the way. Effect, fade out, file, export as wave. Lol, Sonic G Fuel. Just go straight to documents. Game design, punch bomb, maps, descend, sound effects, game over, laugh. Super Mario 64 style. Is that what happened when you died in Mario 64? I never actually played through that. I tried at one point, but they had too few polygons for me to play it. Okay, G. Nope. Documents. Game design. Punch bomb. Maps. Descend. Sound effects. Game over, laugh. Why is that so quiet now? Oh, is that coming through my speakers? It is. Whoops. Okay, so when we die, you can play two sound effects, the and blarg. When you die, you hear evil laugh from Bowser, similar to yours, but with a slower tempo. Tempo? Not a slower tempo. Tempos don't even move. God, Chris, you're so dumb. Okay, so after all this nonsense, before that, okay, we'll just do a sequence. And we'll put this second, since sound effects are going to be pretty light on processes. I want that to happen the second you die. So we'll say play sound. This is going to be I think it's this one. We'll do that one, number 2. And then play sound at location. Laugh. It's a child's laughter. That's right. I was gonna a couple more things. When you die, you hear Bowser laughing. Oh, I already read that. My bad. I'm not all here tonight. Let's see. Game over text. Let's change the default for this to on, just so we can position this better in our player. And then game over widget. I want these to be a little bit further away. I think. And then we want to set these to not visible. Go back to our text, set the default of that, compile. Been fighting off sleep for the last hour and a half and it's only 9. I feel that. After we get this done, after I turn the fog back on and test it, I'm gonna get off, I think, and go watch anime. Judge me. Judge me, senpai. No. Ooh woo. What anime? I've been watching Food Fight. Surprisingly sexual. Okay, this is pretty good. I can record part of this for my Twitter clip, I think. Which I'll have to do off stream, just so I don't end up with a multiple large gigabyte file. So yeah, I guess we'll end there. Thanks for hanging out, Benzalot, Benny, TARDIS Man, anybody else who stopped by. I'll be back, probably not tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm gonna go play Magic at the Nerd Bar. But I'll probably be back working on this more on Friday. I can honestly say I've been having a lot of fun working on this game. I don't care if a lot of people watch or not. This is 100% just to get the game done. And it's been a whole lot of fun. So thanks for hanging out. I will see you all soon. I'm gonna get off and record my clip. Yeehaw.